Hello growers, my name is Svetlana, my background is plant genetics and agronomy, and I would love to share my knowledge with you to help your garden thrive and just give you some tips and ideas on what works best in your garden when you grow your vegetables and your food. Today I'm going to continue talking about the garlic, and this video is specifically for the organic growers who prefer only organic fertilizers or organic matter in their garden. Now, the biggest mistakes that growers do, they leave the mulch, which we usually cover all our garlic by mulch, especially in the northern climate, to prevent the complete frost on the top of the surface in early spring. Big mistake. You need to remove it. I will take it. Look how much mulch I'm removing. And by doing that, you're gonna, I left minimal. I left probably only ½ inch of mulch there. By doing this, your soil will warm up faster, and what it means, the beneficial bacteria will start waking up faster and get to work. It'll start breaking organic matter and turn basically all organic matter into the food for your plants. So the plants will be more accessible to your plants in the form that garlic can absorb faster and start growing the green tops. The second thing that I highly suggest, and the biggest mistake, they either don't just leave the garlic alone because they had or put some organic matter in the fall, but garlic needs nitrogen at this time, and it really screams for nitrogen, because even if you had your organic matter in the fall, most of the nitrogen, a lot of it will wash out with the rain and snow. So we're gonna help our garlic with the nitrogen. Now, other thing that I observed, and I read some comments where people would say, oh, just sprinkle blood meal on the top of the surface, and don't forget to do it in the spring. Sprinkle the blood meal, which is basically this organic fertilizer, the blood meal. And I'm just gonna show you what it looks like in the form. It's all dry on the surface. Let me tell you, it's not gonna do much. Here's why. First of all, if you put it on a dry soil, it's just gonna be sitting on the top. The blood meal really works in the soil. So if you really want to do only blood meal, a better way of applying the blood meal in early spring would be by digging the trench, and I just use this tool. This I looked at it. It's about 2.5, almost 3 inches. You can dig a trench 3 inches deep, and if you do it, don't worry, you're not gonna ruin the roots, because you did plant the garlic last fall between 3 inches and 4 inches in depth. So what you're gonna do, let me make sure that you can see it. For instance, I'm gonna do it here. You're gonna dig a trench right next in a row, right next to the plants. And what you're doing by doing that, first of all, you're gonna break the soil crust that will help oxygen to get to the roots sooner and faster. More oxygen, bigger roots. You basically break in the soil crust, and bigger roots, bigger green tops, bigger bulb. So you dig the trench next to the plant. Next, what you're gonna do, you're gonna water it. Ooh, let me grab my watering can. I just have a basic watering can here. You make sure that you water it. After you water it, you're gonna take your fertilizer, your blood meal, and you're gonna sprinkle. The key is to deliver it closer to the roots. If you deliver it closer to the roots, the uptake of this blood meal will start faster. And also, you're gonna put it in the soil. Bacteria just waking up, it's not really active. It will take time to break it down, but in the meantime, it will start working. So you're gonna sprinkle a little bit of blood meal along whatever amount you need to. I'm not gonna do it because I already applied nitrogen. And you're gonna cover the trench, and you're gonna take your watering can and you're gonna water it again. Now, this approach works really well if you have a small surface area to cover. If you have bigger surface area to cover, you could do the foliar leaf spray. And what you're gonna do, you're gonna take, for instance, whatever container you take, for instance, it's 5 gallon, put 1/4 of the blood meal in that 5 gallon. Pour the water over to the top and let it sit for, I'm gonna say 7 days. Next, mix it well together and dilute that mixture 1 to 10 or 1 to 15. But again, you're losing a whole week for sure, unless your temperatures are below zero, below freezing. So another way, if there's anything else that would work better for organic growers during these cold spring temperatures, I do believe so. I think if you take either fish hydrolyzed or fish emulsion, basically. Now, I believe the hydrolyzed is much better because it's less processed, and also it has more proteins in it that is better for your plants and soil, and it's a little bit more bioactive. Now, fish emulsion is more processed, however, the nitrogen will be delivered much faster, and it doesn't really, it's really doesn't do much for biological life in the soil, this specifically fish fertilizer. However, you can always amend. If you have a lot of organic matter, it wouldn't matter necessarily too much because it's already rich in biological life there, such as beneficial bacteria. That's specifically I'm talking about. Now, what you can do, you're gonna take a fish fertilizer, which they suggest that you put 1 tablespoon per gallon of water. I would double it in early spring. I would go 2 tablespoons. Just don't overdo it. You're not gonna do it, every other day. You're just gonna feed it early spring and give it a good boost. And next, you're gonna assess every week or every 2 weeks what else needs to be done to help the plant thrive. So I'm gonna take 2 tablespoons. I'm gonna dilute in this 2.5 gallons of water in cans, so you can calculate how much fertilizer, fish emulsion you need. Again, you're gonna water it first, you're gonna apply the fertilizer, and you're gonna cover it. You don't have to re-water it again. You can, because if you water it after you apply the fish fertilizer, you're just gonna push the fish fertilizer a little bit lower and closer to the roots. And again, then faster roots start absorbing the nutrients, then more green leaves you will get at the end. Now, what you could do at this time when you apply liquid fertilizer, I like to start amending my soil with beneficial bacteria, specifically with Trichoderma harzianum. Why would I do that? Because that starts suppressing the bad bacteria such as Fusarium, bad fungus in the soil. So if you don't have it in the soil, or have it in a lower quantities, believe me, you have Fusarium in your soil. There's no question asked. And that's why many times you will see beautiful green tops, and suddenly one day somewhere in the middle of the summer, everything just going to rot. So you can add a half teaspoon, or you just add something to your watering can and dilute it well and water it. So that will help to start suppressing some kind of bad fungus in the soil. Also, it will help the roots to absorb nutrients better, and actually Trichoderma, the way you can pronounce it, I speak 5 languages and all of them pronounce it differently, will help plant to stay healthy overall. Now, this one specifically have multiple. This is Great White. It is very expensive, but if you apply it to consistently in a low quantities, and your soil should stay on the healthy side. However, it works. Trichoderma works well if you have a lot of or plenty of organic matter in it. So anyway, because trichoderma will help to break it down as well. It works wonders in the soil. It's wonderful. And I want to show you what's the difference. Again, I grow pretty much everything organically. However, in early spring, I do give a shot of, think of it as environments, a shot of mineral fertilizer to garlic very early. And I'm gonna show you the difference where I gave a really small dose of mineral fertilizer versus to the plants where I did not do it. And you will see the difference in growth. Nothing wrong if you give a small dose of mineral fertilizer, because the nitrogen that we use, plants don't really know the difference between mineral and organic. And if you do it once in the early spring, it's totally fine. Believe me, it's totally fine. I've seen now you're not applying it every week. No, I'm not in favor of that, but you can watch the video on my YouTube or Instagram where explaining why I do and what kind of fertilizers work best at the low temperatures between 35 and 50 degrees. What kind of nitrogen works best. So one more time, let's just summarize it. What works best in early spring, especially if you do organic gardening? First, remove the mulch. Next, give a shot of good nitrogen fertilizer to help the plants wake up and grow. The kind of fertilizer works really good. Either fish, I believe my pronunciation, hydroxylite, which is processed, but fish emulsion works great as well. And if you take blood meal and fish emulsion will deliver nitrogen much faster because it's already been breaking in a smaller moleculars there, versus blood meal hasn't. And blood meal needs beneficial bacteria to wake up, get to work, and break that blood meal down. Anyway, just make sure that you always cover the trenches, and before any application you need either to water your soil or do it after the rain. And always I suggest that, especially if you put dry fertilizer in the dry form, you always water the area as well, to make sure that you push that fertilizer or help to start breaking down and push it closer to the roots. Remember one thing: if you leave the dry fertilizer on the top of the soil, you will get zero results and a tiny bulb. If you are able to grow green biomass, green leaves, healthy leaves, good sized leaves, and before the bulb starts forming, you will have a bigger bulb, because leaves accumulate the energy, and that will feed your bulb. Now first it goes all in the leaves, and next leaves will release it back to the bulb, and bulb will grow and expand. Let me know if you have any questions. I think I covered pretty much everything. And I think I did say that root zone, if you deliver it closer to the root zone, you'll get a better uptake in the plants. Thanks for watching. If you learn anything out of this video, please like and please subscribe. It will help me tremendously, and I will continue doing the videos. And tomorrow I will take you to the woods with me, and I will show you what plants I collect to create another organic fertilizer that is truly precious. And we'll see if I would be able to find some beneficial bacteria that we can, or fungicides basically, like trichoderma, to find in the woods, and how we can apply it at home and how we can grow it. But keep an eye open, and hope to see you tomorrow.